Hello, digital educator, and welcome to this short session that I've entitled 3 Ways to Stop Student Cheating. And so with this, I want to preface that this is mainly based upon math. And why mainly math? Well, because math is definitely the easiest subject that we have, that when we're doing online instruction it's the easiest to cheat with. Because one, we traditionally pull our problems from sources that are pretty widespread. In another video, I talked about ways to assess student learning, and I'll link that down in the comments section below so you can view that as well too. But beyond using that curriculum, math is much more discrete. It uses the same terminology. There's greater technology. I mean, photo math completely changed things. It changes the way that we should view assessment when it comes to math. And so for 2 of the practices, they relate to any subject, but the third one really does fit best into like your traditional math or let's say science, chemistry especially, practice and disciplines. So before I get started here, the strategies that are coming from here are from a webinar that was done by Corwin Press with John Hattie, Douglas Fisher, Nancy Fry, Vince Bustamante, that was entitled Measure Student Learning in Any Setting. This was more about formative assessment and how we formatively assess. So I wanted to take out some parts that are really, really valuable that suited this topic. You can find the webinar at the link that's listed there, but it's also listed in the details below. So first strategy is to use honor codes. Believe it or not, the first 2 have to do with finding that honor inside of kids and believing in the best in them and putting them in situations where they have to have introspective nature about the way that they conduct themselves. So they displayed this article. It's called Just How Dishonest Are Most Students, which is from a New York Times article. And I'm going to read this here just so it's easier for you. Donald McCabe at Rutgers Business School and Linda Trevino at the Smeal College of Business at Penn State found a 23% rate of helping someone with answers on a test at colleges without an honor code. So 23% rate versus only 11% at schools with an honor code. So it's a reduction of 50%. They reported impressive differences as well for plagiarism, 20% versus 10%. So again, 50% reduction. Unauthorized crib notes, 17% versus 11%, which is not quite 50. And unpermitted collaboration, 49% versus 27%, among other forms of cheating. So it's amazing that most of those are about 50%, cutting them in half just by having an honor code. And so one of the things that you'll say is, well, Jonathan, we already have a student code of conduct. But if you feel that is that important, it is something that you need to break out, something that you need to have kids that you go over with your students to make it something that is covered, to then have kids go through and to have them sign it, to review with their parents, to have their parents sign it. That it needs to be very intentional. How many families go through and read the student code of conduct line by line? Well, especially before they get in trouble, not after they get in trouble, to find holes and things. So make it intentional, create an honor code, have the kids sign it after you go over it with them very explicitly. What does it mean to have academic integrity? What does it mean to have to do plagiarism, to cheat? What is cheating considered? Is Googling an answer cheating? Some situations it is, some it isn't. So you have to delineate out those expectations with kids and make them commit to something, commit to a standard. And this goes into our second strategy here, which is embedded ethics questions. And I thought this was an absolutely awesome idea, is that you start and end every assessment with ethics questions about cheating. So question 1 that they gave for an example, what does it mean for you to not cheat on a math test? Again, you can substitute math for any other subject. What standards do you set for yourself? It doesn't ask you what does it mean to cheat, ask what does it mean to not cheat, and what do you personally view that you should be doing. And then you end with the last question. So did you live up to what you said in question 1 was cheating? Not ask, it makes them have the introspect to go back and say, I did, I didn't. It'll make people feel uncomfortable if they put it in there and make them feel guilty. Is there anything else that you did that could have been considered shady by someone else? No kid's gonna write, yeah, I cheated, and yeah, I did some stuff that was shady, but I promise I won't do it again. It has them feel, if every time that they know that they're gonna feel that way, answering that, they're gonna be deterred from engaging in those behaviors. The final one, which works best with math, and the sciences is instead of having kids providing them with a problem that they can readily Google search for, we should provide them with the problem that they could readily Google search for, but provide a way that's worked through the problem, but stick an error in there somewhere. And then the kids have to go and find what the error is, state what the error in thinking was for the person that committed this error, and how to fix it. It is such a greater depth of knowledge. Yes, you're going to get fewer questions in an assessment. Yes, you're not going to fit very well in with a 100-point traditional grading scale. It's going to be more of a 4-point rubric type, and you're going to have to delineate out which each of these aspects are for the rubric. But they can't cheat. It gets to extreme depth of understanding to show where things break down, and you can go through that 4-point scale if you want to afterwards, and then average it out to a 100-point scale. But to set kids to know what those descriptors of proficiency are, to know what academic expectations are for that. And again, you take the whole Googling thing completely out of the picture. So I hope that you find this helpful, and the next time that you seek to create an assessment, that you keep a couple of these tips in mind to help stop student cheating.